Welcome to the part 2 video initially configuring the switch or router. Now, I know you have seen this type of configuration before on YouTube, online courses, but so many have this one question, and I myself have this one question. How do you do this stuff in a real world? Can you show us an example, like just a real stuff, real touching devices, So of course we're not going to do this in each and every lab, but I think it's important for these first few labs that we show you something. So here's a really nice cool video that I'm going to attach with this video. Make sure you watch the first initial part. This is where your instructor, a certified instructor, is going to initially configure your switch. But then I'm going to show you just a real world video, and I'm hoping that you will like that video. Thank you. Now let's go back to your instructor.
Hello students. Task 1. Configuring the switch. In this lab, all devices are initially powered down. So the devices that you will configure have no previous configuration on them. So you have to turn on the devices. So I already turned on the NY-access1, which is the switch. So when you click on the power on button, here you can see the menu. When you click on the power on button, it gets turned blue and start loading. You need to wait for the few seconds, then the device will turn on and you will see the console menu. From this menu you need to go to the privilege executive mode, where you can easily configure the switch and you can further configure the switch parameters. Privilege executive mode can be identified by the hash symbol. When you put enable command in user exec mode, just look at here, enable. Now you may see the hash symbol along with the name of the switch. It means that you are logged on in privilege executive mode. Now here you can set the password, which can provide the security, but for enabling the password you must have to go into the global configuration menu. So we use configure terminal command, configure terminal. You can note it down. For further changing the host name, you can enter the hostname command, and for as per our standards you use the name NY-access1. Enter. Now you may observe that the switch name changes from switch to NY-access1. Now from global configuration menu you can also set the password for the switch security. So you can put the command enable password Cisco 1. Now the password is configured, and you can check by entering the Control Z, so you can go back to the user exec mode. From this menu you enter the command disable, which prompt you on the user exec mode. Now you can enter enable command. It prompted for password. You have to enter the password Cisco1, and now you get access. So one layer of security has been implemented, but there is a drawback on this command. I'll show you. When you enter the show running config command, this command shows all the configuration which has been made are stored in the RAM. As you can see, there is enable password Cisco1. When any other person who's not trustworthy and enter the command show running config, he can easily access through the password, and he can easily write the password which is written in the plain text. In that cases, we need to hide the password. For that, we will do another method. You have to log on the configure terminal menu, then you put enable secret. Here you can check that when we enter the command enable secret, you see it from incomplete command. So we need to enter the password. Cisco1 is used there, so here we can use Cisco. Now you may see the password is accepted, and now you may check exit, disable, enable. Once the password which has been already configured Cisco1 is not accepted there, now we will put the password Cisco and you get access, because the enable secret is get the priority, because Cisco1 is clear text password. Now I will show you the imminence of this command show running config. Here you can see enable secret is encrypted. So that is the benefit of the enable secret command. Anyhow, if you need to hide the password which is written in plain text, so we have a command called service password encryption. So we will put this command in global configuration mode, service password encryption. Now we can check. You can see that enable password is also encrypted now. So when you use the simple command enable password, so you may also put another command service password encryption. It will encrypt the plain text password, and any wrong person and unwanted person unable to watch and observe that password. That's all about. Thank you.
So, what we need to know about in this section is about routers and physically configuring it for the first time. So you got this router, you unboxed it, or you got it from a friend, or someone gave it to you. Now it's time for you to connect to it. Remember, there's no mouse keyboard with this stuff, so you need something like these type of cables. So on the back right here, or on the front of the router, you'll see this right here. I'll say console, and look at the color is also blue, and this is also blue. So it's called console rollover cable. Okay, basically what it is, you plug this end of the cable right here. It should be very smooth. You shouldn't be forcing this in there. And you see right here, this goes to the back of your computer. So the back of the computer should have something like this. If you have an old computer, you will see this serial port. Those are pins right there. And this cable, the other end of this cable, will go inside here, and then you will use software like Putty, the things that we're going to discuss right after this. We're going to do that part. If you don't see this on your computer, if you have a laptop, new ones, then you need to get something like this USB serial to this one, this cable right here. So you put this USB in your laptop, and then the other end of your cable, you'll basically put this in there. These are pins right there, okay? So here's an example right here. Like, see, there's no pins here on this side, but on the USB, this should go to your laptop, and the pins should be here. Then you plug this right here, and then you use your software. Now what we're gonna do, let's set up our first router, like just connecting to it. In this video, we'll just connect to it using two different softwares. So right here, I have another 2800 router, and sometimes it could be the front of the router. So I have my console cable connected right here. And the back of the PC, look, I have two serial ports. One is right here. I can plug another like switch in there, but this router is connected to this serial port that's internal, and that's basically external right there, which I have connected to it. I mean, I have to connect other things to it, but for now, the router is connected right here. Now, if you are following my labs, I am basically setting up this PC that's going to be directly connected to the router, and then I'll have another Ethernet from my modem or your Wi-Fi device, and I'm going to connect it because I need an internet connection. While I am doing this, I am going to be installing software. If you don't, then you're going to need to put it on a USB and put it on the computer where you're going to be setting these up. So I don't have that right now because I want to show you guys that. So I'm going to get connection directly from my router. So a lot of people will get confused. How do you get the connection? So that's why I want to show you this. If you're following my videos, then this is what I'm doing. This is connected to my router or Linksys or whatever you have internet connection. Get it, plug it in, I got the lights. Okay, now you can use Windows 7, server, or anything, maybe Linux, but as long as you have internet connection and these softwares are supported, you can basically use it. Putty is basically a big software. A lot of people use it. So we are going to use Putty, and there's another software I'm going to show you guys. I will use that. So let's go ahead and download Putty. We know our router is connected right now, and we haven't turned it on yet. So first I'm going to download Putty. So you basically Putty. All right, so this time we are going to connect to our router. But to do that, you need you can use it Windows 7, Windows servers. If you have servers, you can use like Linux or anything, as long as these softwares are supported by your operating system. So it's not only Putty, you can find something else also. Like there's Putty, there's CRT1, and then there's basically MOBA. MOBA is the one that I'm going to be really using in this course. So Putty, you basically go to Google and download, click here, and basically I went to download right here. You can download Putty, click here, and then I basically did the whole installer, Putty 0.67 installer.exe. It sees right here, Windows installer. You could get the portable ones too, depending on what system you use. So there's other options, so you can use that. But I installed the exe, and when I installed it on my computer, I see right here Putty, and I basically click on this, or I can send this to my desktop, so then I have it. The second thing that I downloaded on the internet is Mobile Xterm. Okay, when you do that, you'll see this right here, Mobile Xterm Free X Server. When you click on it, you get this, get Mobile Xterm now. Then you get to download now the free one, and it tells you what it can do. The reason I like this a lot, because we're going to be doing a lot of the Windows stuff and connecting to Windows, different type of technologies. Remember, this course is not just like Cisco routers. It's going to move to Windows servers, Mac servers, and things like that. So we need something that we can follow on and have everything in one place. And this is why I like this over Putty. Now we're going to test both of these two. So you can get the portable or installer. I already installed it. You click on it, you run this, and you will see something like this. You go to all programs, and then you'll see Mobile Xterm Personal Edition, and then you can send that to your desktop. I'm going to show you guys. I have it on my desktop, and I have my Putty on the desktop. So now We got the software. We got the cable connected to the router. All I need to do now is to turn on my router. Let's go and turn it on. There you go. The sound is pretty good. Remember, we're doing all this thing physically because, remember, that's how you want to do real practice. Okay, so now this is going through that boot process. In the last video when I talked to you guys that go ahead and learn about the boot process, this is going through that boot process right now. So let's go ahead and use Putty to connect to using the serial connection. You'll basically open Putty for the first time and then you will see serial right here. Now you see right here it automatically connects COM1 9600 is the speed. So if I say, you know what, let me see if my serial port is on COM1, I'm going to say open. When you do open, you click enter. Now it's telling me that my router is actually not using COM1. So what you need to do, click OK, go open Putty again, go to serial and do COM2. Now your COM2 and 9600, I'm going to say open and I'm going to say enter. Alright, so it's still not using. Okay, we got two more. Open Putty, go to serial connection and do COM3. It's not connected. Okay, good. We're going to do COM4 now. Not connected. Okay. What is going on here? That's a good thing to find out. So now I'm going to go back to my console cable and make sure everything is connected correctly. So I see that my console cable is connected and my serial, making sure. So I'm going to basically do is unplug my cable and plug it back into my computer. Great troubleshooting right here, guys. First troubleshooting started real well. So now Putty again. Let's go back to Putty. Let's do serial again. COM1 open. No luck. Okay. Let's do COM2. Serial COM2. There you go. What a great troubleshooting right there, guys. I love this because this is something that you will not see when you do packet tracing, my friends. This is where people can get stuck. And maybe real world scenario will be a network engineer call you and he says, hey, can you connect to the physical router and then you plug in another PC that have an internet connection so I can get in? Can you do that? So this process, at least if you do this, you will give a connection to a network engineer so he will do his stuff, but you did something basic at this level, which if you didn't know, now you know. That's how you troubleshoot. Now you see how I went to COM1, 2, 3, 4, this 4. So if you see that it didn't work for 1, it didn't work for 2, 3, 4, then go back to your computer, unplug the cable, plug it back, and then try again. Now, this is where we have it. We are connected to the router. This video was all about how to connect physically to the router, and this is how you do it on Putty, right? But before I do this, I want to show you guys the boot process that we talked about. I'm going to turn off router and turn it on again. You guys see that right there? It's basically doing the boot process. It's looking for information. It's checking the memory. Hey, do I have the memory? Do I have the configuration file? Do I have the iOS? Do I have everything like that? It's basically checking that. And then now it's basically opening up the computer. This is basically the same as a computer starting, normal computer. It looks for boot process, then it goes back and say, oh, do you have Windows or do you have Linux? And then it will show you the screen, right? And then you use your mouse and keyboard. But in here, you don't have mouse and keyboard. The only way to use mouse and keyboard is through that cable. Console cable, rollover cable. So you use that over there, right? So now that was the boot process. But what if I take that flash out, compact flash? I'm going to take that out because my system is in there. I'm going to turn it off, turn it on again. Now let's see what happened. It is going through the boot process, right? And bam, it stopped going ahead. I mean, this says right here, compact flash not present. So what could be a real scenario over here? that somebody would call you. Let's say somebody went there and they were playing with the router, and somehow they clicked that little button, and then they took the flash out, the compact flash, which is right here. They took this out, and now your whole network, your main router, let's say this was your main router, there's nothing redundancy or nothing like that, and it's stuck. And somebody figured this out. This could be one of the reasons. Your network engineer say, hey, can you go to the compact, look at the router, and there's a compact flash right in front of the router. If this router supports this stuff, it'll tell you, can you check that if everything is plugged in or it is, like, in there correctly. So I'm going to go back and plug it back in and make sure that it's in there. And I'm going to go ahead and restart my router. Now, this should go ahead and basically finish the boot process, and everything should be in there, and I should be in the router like it should be, okay? There's lights coming up, things going on right now, and you will see the router should basically pick it. There you go. So now they're telling me that there's an image, and I'm saying, yeah, okay, this is okay. And next it's going to tell me, okay, this router is good. It will do some little process right there, and that's it. It looked for all the information that it needed, and now you should be inside the router. It will take a second depending on your memory and all that. It could be a very powerful router. It could be an old router. Old router can take time. So right after this, I'm going to show you guys how to use the other software, and you can use other softwares, many other softwares, to connect to router like this, as long as they support serial. So there you go. Would you like to enter the initial configuration dialog? And then that's it. After this, we're going to make another video how to configure the router for the first time when you're inside the router first, right? So I'm going to go ahead and close this, and let's talk about the other software that we downloaded is MOBA Extern, right? I'm going to go ahead and double click on it. There you go. You know why I like this? Because everything is so centralized, and there's a lot of tools you can use, which we'll discuss later on. But to connect to the router through this software now, all you got to do is right click on it, go to new session, and here are the sessions. Look at this. In one portable, or maybe you installed it, you have SSH, you have Telnet, you have RDP. Remember we're talking about we're going to do DHCP servers, DNS servers, all other servers, FTP, SFTP. We're going to put everything in one place, so that will be really easy for us to follow along in this course. So now what we're going to do is they should have serial right here. And that's the same thing that you did in Putty, right? You're going to click on that. One thing you need to change is the speed over here. 9600. You're going to use that. And it says COM1 communication, and there are two communications right now. So you can check COM1. I'm going to go ahead and open it. Click enter. This is not the right one. Remember, we have to check it now. We're going to close this out. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to create a new session now. I'm going to say serial, change the speed to 9600, and I'm going to use COM2, and I'm going to say OK. Enter. There you go. I'm inside the router. The reason I love this is now I can do a lot of things in this. For example, if I'm teaching here, or you are basically trying to look at this screen bigger, all you have to do is right click, and you can have all of these options and play around with this very quickly. And Putty, you have to go and do configuration, save it. Here you can just say control and play around with your mouse. So if you hit the control and your mouse scroll up and down the wheel, it should go up and down. So look at this. If I hit my control and I go up, look at this. If I can play around with this, right? So one thing is that, or whatever you do in this router, all the configuration can be recorded, meaning you can save it to the file. Everything, single command will be saved instantly, very quickly. You can reset a terminal. You can basically do full screen on this, or you can also change the colors, and it has its own Cisco syntax too. So if you click right here and go to Cisco networking configuration, basically it will give you different colors for different commands. Okay, we're going to do this later on, but for now I showed you how to use two different softwares and connect to the router. One last thing I would like to show you on this is the macro in these things, which is really cool. like if I type all these commands and I say, you know what, I'm going to share this macro with someone and I will set this this router for you. You don't have to touch anything. I can start recording all the macros. But that's something else. We're going to discuss that later on. But for now, we are inside the router. Next video, we are going to configure this router. How to get into this router is done. We're going to now name this router. We are going to put a password on this router. We are going to add an interface to this router so we can connect through an IP address. We're not going to be using right here the serial. We're going to be using SSH or Telnet, meaning we can be sitting anywhere on network or anywhere somewhere that I can access the IP address, and bam, I can be inside the router.